I'm a self-published author and I format all of my own books before publishing. Basically, I take the Word document that I've been writing in and I turn it into the formatted version that has all of the different pages and stylistic things on it, like chapter headings, that an actual published book has. A lot of authors format themselves using Word. I format using a program called Vellum, and in this video I'm going to give you a quick tutorial of this software that I use called Vellum and share how easy it makes formatting a book. This video is not sponsored by Vellum, it's not sponsored by anyone, it is just me sharing a program that I use, that I enjoy, that makes my life so much easier. Before we get into the video, if this is your first time visiting my channel, hello and welcome. My name is Fraise and I'm an award-winning author that makes videos on this channel sharing actionable writing tips that helped me make my own writing better. I'm the author of the They Stay series, including books They Stay, They Whisper, They Return, They Hunt, and ultimately the 5th book in the series, which I have not started writing yet. So like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get into the content. Vellum is a software that allows you to import your book. I always import my books in a Word file, and it automatically goes through and turns it into a file that is compatible for e-readers or for printing paperback and hardcover books. They make things super easy. They have drop-down menus with different already built-in formatting choices. You are able to format things like text messages and different breaks in the text. Vellum is not free. Vellum costs $199.99 for just the version of it that allows you to format ebooks, and $249.99 for the ebooks and paperback cost. I bought Vellum when I wrote my first book because I knew I would be writing more, and in the long run, I thought it was a lot more financially responsible to just buy Vellum outright, and then I can use it to format all of my future books myself instead of paying a formatter every single time that I end up publishing a book. If you're planning to just publish one book, maybe working with a formatter is a better idea for you. If you know that you're going to publish a bunch of them, Vellum might make more sense. For a second, I did consider trying to learn how to format on Word. I don't really know how to format on Word. I really tried to learn and it was very confusing to me, so I found this just to be a lot more intuitive and easier. But there are very many authors who are amazing at formatting on Word. Bethany Adazada has a great YouTube tutorial that I watched. It's a series of videos that breaks down all the different things that you need to know to format on Word. I'm not very tech savvy, and so I found Vellum easier, but you have to see what works better for you and your brain. So this is the Vellum little homepage that you get when you open up Vellum. As you can see, I have all of my books formatted here. I have more than just these, but these are my most recents. I just published They Hunt this week as of filming this video, and so that's why those two are at the top. I decided to make life very difficult for myself and have a separate file for the paperback and hardcover versus the ebooks. I really wish I hadn't done that in hindsight. I just had my mind fixated on having a certain formatting, like stylistic choice for the chapter headings. And after poring over all of these books that I loved, I just decided that this is what I wanted to do, and so I made life so much harder for myself, and now I design all of my chapter headings on Canva and then import them, but because I have to import them all as images, I do that as a separate file so that I don't get charged for that with my KDP ebooks. KDP charges you based on how big your ebook is to deliver to Kindle. There is always a delivery fee which comes out of your royalty as the author, and so the bigger the delivery fee, the less money that you get per sale of your book. So that goes for if you have a lot of images in an ebook or something like that, it is more expensive to deliver, which is why Vellum makes it really easy in their built-in chapter headings to not have that be a big issue. Whereas for me, with my paperbacks, every single chapter heading is a separate image, and that would make it a very expensive book to deliver. But it's fine for print, so I just keep it as is for print. So when you go to format a book on Vellum, you start by importing a Word file, so you click Import Word File. I'm just going to go through and I'm going to find a copy of They Stay, so we can format this together again. Amazing, and this is what I get. So I just imported They Stay into Vellum, and this is what it shows me. So it hasn't gone through and done all of the stylistic things for me automatically. What Vellum is good at doing is that it goes through and just tries to break down your Word document into automatic chapters. You have to go through and make sure that they've done this correctly, because a lot of times they don't. So as you can see here on the left, you have chapter 1, and then this is a found text, so it's not a chapter, which is why they called it untitled. Chapter 2, that's correct. 3, 4, another found text. So what I do when I first import my books is just go through like this to make sure that all of my chapters look correct and that this is fine. And then once I've done all that, I can go through and start to play around with like some of the details. So Vellum, when I draft all of my books, I always put the point of view character underneath the chapter number just so I can keep track of it, because I don't have chapter headings on my Word documents. These are like my chapter headings. But Vellum imported all of these things. So I would go through and delete all of these point of view character names because those are not going to be important. Well, they are going to be important, but we don't want them to look like that in the final version of the book because that would look dumb. But we're going to add them later as like a special subtitle to look good. So after I've done all that, like just pretend that I've done that for every single chapter in here, I go through and I browse the styles. So Vellum, what's amazing about Vellum is that they have a lot of built-in styles already in their program. So they break them down over here by popular, serif, sans serif, script, accessible, and all styles. So this is really a genre and personal preference thing. You can go through and just choose which ones you like the best. I will click through them now so you can see all of the different options because they have a lot of really cool options already built in, and then I can tell you which ones that I ended up using for my book. As you can see, they have a lot of them, but they're pretty fun to look at, so let's just look at them. Actually, before we do that, let me just add the subtitles. So because I have point of view chapters, you can add like these things on a chapter by chapter basis. You can add subtitles, add chapter authors, then add heading images. Like if you wanted to have a cool little decal for your heading, you can add a heading image. But with my point of view characters, I always just say add a subtitle. And then my subtitle is my character name. So that's how I keep track of all of the different point of view chapters. So now that we can see the full chapter, we can go through all the different styles. So this is Meriden. It looks like this would be something that would work for something a little more artsy or literary, maybe historical fiction. Artisanal is the one that it always automatically puts me in when I upload to Vellum. I like this. I think it would probably work a little bit better for romance. It doesn't scream thriller to me. Chroma is kind of cool with the different colors. I wonder if you can change the color. Yeah, oh yeah, so then there are like sub-styles within each of the different styles, so you can choose the different ones that you like. They have a couple of color options for Chroma, so you can like choose all of these sub-styles, which is pretty cool too. So they really allow you to have a bunch of different options with your stylistic choices. You can have like full heading backgrounds and things with each style, which is also very cool. You can change if you want like the first paragraph bolded or in all caps or with a fancy letter or nothing or anything that you want. You can choose the different styles of your paragraph, or sorry, you can choose like the capitalization for after your paragraph breaks. You can choose the style for your ornamental break. You can choose your header and footer, like whether you want your author and title name on, like you can choose where you want it. And you can also choose what text you want for the body. So they actually have a lot of different options for you to choose from. You can choose, I'm pretty sure mine are all in Palantino, but yeah, you can choose. So this is Cinder. So this is kind of funky heading. I think that's kind of cool. This I feel like would be a good one for maybe like a YA romance. Decorum looks very romancy, like this is very like fancy script. Directive. Now this looks a little bit more sci-fi. I could see this as a little bit more thrillery, but more like dystopian sci-fi for sure. They have the option to have the entire thing formatted in dyslexic font, which is super cool. Edgewood looks very fantasy to me. Hawthorne, also kind of literary maybe. Kindred, we love romance. Legible, this looks kind of, not Comic Sans-y, but I don't know, like it's kind of like a funky, fun, maybe for a contemporary or also maybe a little sci-fi or like spacey. That's Metro, Oxford, Parcel, Recital, I was about to say Rectal, no, Recital. Rival. This one looks very like comic booky, superhero type fun. Seabreeze, very like The Summer I Turned Pretty, summer romance, Stardust, Stiletto. Pseudo is one that I think I considered, but I was like, this looks just a little bit too sci-fi to be exactly what I want. Trace I like. I think Trace is very cool. This one works for like mysteries and thrillers. It's just really simple. Trifle, very romance. Venture, Verdict, Whisper, and Zephyr. So this is the one that I use for my books, but what I do instead of having a subtitle is I just have the number over here, 1, and then I have the point of view character underneath it. This is what I use for all my ebooks. I like this style. It's super simple, and it keeps things very clean. So that is what I do, and I customized it a little bit too. So I chose Verdict, and then I can go through all these, and I don't have a heading background for the first paragraph. I don't think I capitalize anything at all. I have these just straight lines for ornamental breaks. I just have the numbers at the bottom of the page, and then I use Palantino for my text. I don't allow hyphenation. I don't like that, and I indicate paragraphs with indentation, which is just like you indent here instead of spacing it down, because that would look different if it was indicating paragraphs with spacing. So that's literally how easy it is. You can just choose any of these that you want. They do try to break it up a little bit, and then you have some options in terms of what genre you're writing. And this is just like whichever one you prefer, you can choose. So now I go back to the list of things. In my books, I always have a title page. So I always write in, like, I'll say They Stay, and my subtitle is a paranormal ghost thriller. Let's see if I can spell that correctly. And then these are, I'll have my author name, and I'll have that as like a title page. This is the wrong format. No, where is the one that I want? Verdict. Yeah. So that's what it looks like. I liked this one because of the bold font. Like, it looks more like a thriller, and this just feels a little bit more thrillery than others. I always have a copyright page. So this is my copyright page. It has things like my ISBN, my cover designer, my Library of Congress control number, all of these, all rights reserved type text and content warnings and things like that. I never put a table of contents for my fiction. I'll put in like an epigraph and a dedication. So Vellum is pretty cool because it will allow you to insert elements. So you go up here and you can say like add element, and then you can just say like add in a dedication, and it'll add in a dedication and it's already formatted. Or you can say add element epigraph, and you can say like, you can add one of those quotes at the beginning of the book, which I always tend to do because I had a quote that I really wanted to add in They Stay, so I just continued it over the course of the rest of the books. This makes things super easy. You can say like if you wanted to have a foreword or a prologue, you can put that in, and then this is the prologue, and you can write your prologue in here and it'll format it for you. At the end of the book, you can have, like acknowledgements, which is easy. You can just kind of put that in. If Vellum doesn't know what something is, they will call it an untitled over here. So then it's up to you to go in and then just say like, these are my resources, because I always put in different resources and things at the ends of all of the books because they cover some pretty heavy subject matter. So this is not something that is preloaded into Vellum. I have to go through and make this look the way I want to. So I don't really like the way it looks. So you get this automatic preview thing over here that updates in real time to show you what your book is going to look like. And it's kind of cool. If you go up here, you can choose what type of Kindle you see this little preview as, which is pretty cool. So this is like it on an iPhone, it on a tablet, and you can go through and just see it as it will look. I don't really like the way that this looks. I don't like the indentation over here. So what I do, or what I did do and what I will do here, is I can go through and highlight all of this, and then over here are things that you can add into the text. So in this case, I'm going to add an alignment block, which breaks the formatting that is preloaded into Vellum. And now you can see everything is in the middle. Then if you go over here, you can click left, and then everything will align nice and neat to the left. if you wanted it to be inset, you could have it be inset a little bit, which I also kind of like the look of. There are a bunch of really cool things you can do with this feature. So let's say you wanted this all to look like a text conversation. You could go over here and click text conversation, and all of this would immediately get popped into a bubble, which is pretty cool. And then in the text conversation editing, over here, you can click whether like this person on the left says it or this person on the right says it, and it will change the color of it. So you can see like there'll be blue and gray bubbles, and you can go and like play around with this and see what the conversation will look like. And then if you click the little like person bubble in the middle, it's, I guess, not in the text anymore. They also allow you to do fun formatting things like, let's say you want it to be a written note. You can do it so it's like written in script. You see like that, it's like written in handwriting, which is pretty cool. So you have some options as far as things that you can do with all of this and all the formatting. And basically what I do after I upload it is I just go through the entire thing. I don't usually like read it all the way through because I've already done that in Word or in a separate document. But I go through and I make sure that everything is formatted the way I want to, and I can scroll through all of the different chapters. And whenever there is a page break, I go in and I make sure that an ornamental break is added there, because like if I put an asterisk or something, it doesn't automatically always convert into an ornamental break. Once I have this looking exactly the way that I want it, I can go up here and I can click generate. It will allow you to, it will ask you what you want to generate it for. So it will allow you to generate it either for print, and in order to generate it for print, you get to choose your trim size. So they'll allow you to choose pretty much any trim size you want, but my books are always 5.5 by 8.5 because that is what I found that most young adult books are. 5 by 8 is more common for like trade paperbacks, and 6 by 9 is more common, I think, for adult fiction, but you have to decide like what's best for your genre. I literally, when I was publishing They Stay, went through my bookshelf and I measured all of the YA books that I really liked just to see what the most common one was, and I went with that. You can choose your font size, so if you want your font size to be just a little bit bigger, then Vellum will recount your pages and just make sure that everything is reconciled, but that's where you go and you can like make sure that your font is the size that you want it. If you want your line spacing to be a little bit wider, you can go in and choose that. You can also see this in centimeters or inches. You can choose whichever one you want. You click done, and then you can do it for print, and all you would have to do is hit continue and then generate, because then you would just choose which folder you want to generate it for. If you want to do it for ebooks, you just click like Kindle, and you can do them for all of them at the same time. You can do Kindle, Apple, Nook, Kobo, Google, or just generic, like a generic EPUB, and you click that, you hit continue, and then you hit generate. And then it will generate really super, super fast, and then you can see your files. So over here, this is my EPUB and Mobi files, and I will open them and show you what they look like. So this is just me opening it in Apple Books. As you can see, this is the one that we just formatted together with our really well-written prologue and our dedication, our automated dedication, our automated epigraph and our automated dedication and copyright page. You can drag and drop all of the things in the menu to make sure they're ordered the way that you want them to be. But, you know, this is what it is. Oh, and Vellum will automatically put a created by Vellum in your copyright page unless you turn it off. They have a little button that you're allowed to click, and that it says, like, you know, don't say that in the copyright page. But if you don't click it, then they will automatically slip that in there. So this is what, like, chapter 1 looks like, just like from what we did. And I'd say it looks pretty good. I feel like the text is slightly bigger. I kind of like the slightly bigger text. I might do that for my next one. I didn't really think about that when I was doing the original They Stay, so I think for my next book, I'm definitely going to make the text just a smidge bigger. But there you have it. That is a very short little tutorial on how to format a book with Vellum. I hope that was helpful. I know I didn't go in incredible detail into different things, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview into really how easy the process is. It took me a little bit of getting used to just like figuring out where things are, but it wasn't so complicated that I couldn't just dive right in and start playing with it. I just learned where everything is after years of playing with this program and formatting 4 books with it. And it really is so easy. Like when I'm formatting a book for real, I can upload that Word document and have a formatted book ready to export into every single different file in under an hour. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel for more videos and quick tutorials like this one. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, my name is Claire Fraise, and I'm the award-winning author of the They Stay series. Have you ever used Vellum to format a book? Are you planning on publishing a book and are looking for formatting programs? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you're working on and if you have any upcoming publishing plans. I hope you have a fantastic week, everybody. And as always, happy writing.